It is a yucky rainy day, so not much videos to do outside on a yucky rainy day. So we're just gonna do our best. Miss Duck is an opportunist. She's searching for spilt feed. Smart girl. Warning, I'm about to show you something graphic and gross. If you don't want to see live parasites in dog poop, then you might want to fast forward through this clip. That is going to be right after this one where I'm talking. Then I'm going to show you a clip of dog poop. Gross side of keeping animals is having to check their poop for worms all the time. Khaleesi has been treated with the natural dewormer, and every day I've looked at her poop and there's been less and less of the parasites that she is battling. That means they're all coming out. So normally the whole thing would be covered. I see two, that's it. 2 tiny little tapeworm parasites. She has worked them mostly completely out of her system from the Herbal dewormer. So this is to show you guys very graphically that it does work. Okay, back to not graphic. So for those of you that watched that clip, I showed you that there were just 2 tiny little tapeworm parasites left that came out today. Every day has been less and less parasites in Khaleesi's poop because we did the Herbal dewormer with her. For those of you that didn't look, I just was showing what they looked like and that there were only 2 of them. Most, at the beginning, before I started the treatment, most of the poop was covered in the parasites. This time, just 2 little tiny parasites on 1 little piece of poop. That's a good thing. Every day I've checked and looked when she poops, and I have to look right away because they don't live very long on the surface. So every day I've been checking, and they've been less and less each time because she's getting them all out of her system. Now I'll be doing it again in 10 days because that way we'll catch any that may have been in the egg stage. They'll hatch out, they'll start growing, we'll hit them with the Herbal dewormer. It is a very good method of parasite control, so it's working very well for us. I always feel really bad for the livestock on a rain day like this because the goats don't get to go out because they don't like the rain, and they stay in their shelter the whole time if you put them out in it, so they're not happy. But it's really warm, rainy weather. So you know what it does to me? It brings out the mushroom enthusiast in me. I keep looking on all the trees, waiting to see if I'm gonna have some winter oyster mushrooms or some lion's mane. Those are the 2 that are pretty predominant in our area in the winter, so I keep my eyes peeled. It is just misting rain right now, so I'm gonna take advantage of that and get our kale for dinner. This kale is actually from last spring. It was planted down the middle of our asparagus bed, and the asparagus grew over the top of it, and we didn't see it all summer long. But now that the asparagus has died back, the kale is popped up inside out of the branches, and here it is, kale for harvesting. It's really doing well. Some of the leaves are freezer damaged or cold damaged, but most of them are looking pretty healthy. I was just coming over here to check the carrots because they look horrible. Apparently that snow and ice that we got, those cold temperatures really did a number on them. This is pretty rare for us in Georgia to see this kind of cold damage on our winter crops. But most of them are sending up new growth, so it didn't damage the roots. But I noticed this. Looks like an armadillo came in here looking for grubs and accidentally dug a carrot up. All right, so I am checking to see if my oyster tree, I think the oyster tree might be done fruiting. It has not fruited in a long time. When I say oyster tree, I'm talking about that right at the top of that ladder. That stump always produces oyster mushrooms, and it hasn't for a long time, like months, and usually it produces every month or two. And then it's probably going to be about 3 to 5 days before I see mushrooms from this rain, but I always like to check my spots. This is our mushroom bed. We planted or put out King Stropharia spawn in this bed. For some reason, the King Stropharia never grew, even though we did everything right. So we're supposed to be getting a refund or a replacement on that. And then some of these logs that are along the outside are inoculated with mushroom spawn. You see those drill holes? You see this one's pretty well rotted, so it's probably done fruiting because there's nothing for the mycelium to eat. Same with that one. You see the holes and it's pretty well rotted out. But what's interesting is this looks familiar to me. This looks like it could be a, no, maybe not. I almost wanted to say it was a bluet or a meadow mushroom. It smells very mushroomy. I'm gonna have to look that one up. This is the first time I've seen it in this bed. So it has indications that make me want to think that I know what it is, and I just can't think of the name. But you see it's growing along with the blackberries, but it's growing in a half circle. Do you notice that pattern? That is what a fairy ring, you've probably heard of that, will do. It'll grow in a circle. As the mycelium grow, the circle gets bigger. That made me think about this other spot I have over here where I know the bluets grew last year. I'll check it, even though it's kind of been cold for them. You see, this is our poultry cone for when we have to process birds. Makes it a little easier. And this is our old chicken coop. Holy cow, there's a cat in there. Mitzi, did you make a bed? Okay. That nest box is a good bed for you. You're so cute. Good thinking, girl. But anyway, there were bluets that grew right around here last year. So I'm going to keep this area watching out for any new ones that might come up. They tend to fruit in the same places as they did the year before, so that's why I'm looking. There is likely mycelium in the ground. Here still, it's just not the right conditions yet, so don't see anything except for the old barnwood. Oh geez, this place is really falling down. It's such a beautiful old house. It's actually a house, not a barn. It was used as a barn in its later years, but it's got a fireplace inside. Just imagine people used to live, and it's just one room, and they used to live in there. Isn't that crazy? But this is just a area that doesn't get much use. It's there was a lot of trash stored in here from the previous tenant, so we kind of avoid this area. It looks like a creature has been going in and out right there. Who knows what? Raccoon, possum, cat. Hi, cat. Hi, kitty. Hey, kitty. You're gonna go hang out in the barn and catch some mice for me, okay? Or rats or mice or whatever they are that is bothering me in the barn. They're not really bothering me. They're just, I see signs of them here and there, and it makes me want to get rid of them. I almost missed it. I just stepped over this branch and it's got this beautiful turkey tail mushroom growing on it. I'm not harvesting it because I'm not ready to make a tincture, but this can be tinctured or made into a tea for its medicinal effects. But I think it's beautiful, just gorgeous. I just have one more spot I want to check and then we're headed in to wash up the kale and get it ready to make some soup. I love it. I'm gonna have some delicious kale soup tonight. So this other spot that I always check for mushrooms is a bluet mushroom spot again, and it's in the weirdest place. It's right here by the driveway, and it usually grows in a circle right here, right by the propane tank. Weird, right? But I don't see any signs of it popping up yet. So that makes me think that those are definitely not fluids. They might be meadow mushroom. I'll have to look it up when I get in. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. You know the drill. We'll see you next time on Wholesome Roots.